The illusion you've been living in. Have you ever paused and asked yourself, is this all there is to life? Not in a dramatic or existential crisis kind of way, but in a quiet, nagging sense that something about the world doesn't quite make sense. You go to work, you pay your bills, you chase goals, you laugh, you cry, you scroll, and you sleep. But deep inside, you feel like there's something missing. Like there's a veil covering something more real, more profound, but no one seems to see it, or even wants to. Alan Watts, the British philosopher and spiritual teacher, once said that most people suffer from a form of mass hallucination. It's not the type of hallucination that causes you to see things that aren't there, but rather one that keeps you from seeing what is there. And that illusion is this, that you are a separate self, living in a world that exists independently of you. That life is something that is happening to you and not something that is unfolding through you. From the moment we are born, society begins to shape our perception of reality. We're given names, labels, and roles to play. We're told what's right and wrong, what's real and what's not, who we are and who we should become. By the time we're adults, we're so embedded in this script that we rarely stop to question whether it reflects any deeper truth. We mistake the map for the territory. We confuse our mental models for reality itself. But what if we've been taught to see life upside down? What if the very structure of our thinking keeps us from experiencing the truth that's been in front of us all along? Watts argues that reality isn't something fixed or objective. It's not a rigid world of separate parts. Instead, it's a flowing, ever-changing process that includes you. Not just your body or your job or your thoughts, but the deeper consciousness that is aware of all these things. Let's try an experiment. Right now, wherever you are, stop thinking about who you are. Forget your name, your age, your job, your relationships, your problems. Just for a moment, drop the story. Now ask yourself, what remains? There is still awareness, still presence, still life. And that life is not yours in the possessive sense. It is you. You are not the one watching the movie of life. You are both the screen and the film, the experiencer and the experience. The reason this feels so foreign is because no one told you, not because they wanted to deceive you, but because they themselves were never told. They inherited the same illusion, the same fragmented worldview that says, you are here and the world is over there. But this duality is false. You are not a stranger in this universe. You are not an isolated ego trapped in a bag of skin. You are reality itself, becoming aware of itself, just like a wave is not separate from the ocean. Alan Watts often used metaphors to make these ideas more digestible. He said that trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth or look into your own eyes without a mirror. The very act of separating yourself from the world creates the illusion that you're not already whole. But once you begin to see through the illusion, something beautiful happens. You start to experience life not as a struggle, but as a dance, not as a burden, but as a mystery. This first step, realizing that something is off, that maybe you've been misled, is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning. It's the crack in the shell, the invitation to go deeper, to see beyond the curtain. Because the truth is not hidden in some ancient book or mystical retreat. The truth is right here, in this moment, in your awareness of this moment. And the more present you become, the more the illusion begins to fade. So take a breath, be still, look around, not with your eyes, but with your presence. Reality has been waiting for you to notice it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll begin to remember something you've always known deep down. Now I'd love to hear from you. Leave a quick comment below and tell me. I'm ready to see beyond the illusion. Type that in the comments if you felt a shift while watching this. It may seem small, but it's your first step in seeing reality as it truly is. You are not who you think you are. For most of your life, you've probably believed that you are a person, a name, a body, a past, and a personality. You might think, I am John, or I am Maria. You remember your childhood, your accomplishments, your regrets. You feel emotions, you have opinions, You react to life as it unfolds. And based on that experience, it's natural to conclude that this you is a separate, independent being with a defined identity. But Alan Watts would ask you to pause and question that assumption. What if you're not the thinker of your thoughts? What if you're not the one pulling the strings behind your actions? What if this person you believe yourself to be is just a story, one that's been shaped, edited, and replayed over time until it feels real? We live under the illusion of control. We say, I made that decision, or I thought about it and came to this conclusion, as if there's a little pilot inside our minds steering the ship. But can you actually find that pilot? When a thought arises, do you deliberately create it, or does it simply appear? Try this. Sit in silence for a moment and watch your thoughts. Don't judge them, don't follow them, just observe. You'll notice something strange. The thoughts come and go without your permission. They arise like clouds in the sky, float across your awareness, and disappear. If you were truly the one generating them, you'd have full control over what shows up next. But you don't. No one does. Alan Watts compared the human mind to a television set that's always on. Channels are flipping on their own. You might be watching the anxiety channel one moment and the fantasy channel the next. The mistake comes when we believe we are the screen. In truth, we are the awareness that sees the screen, not the programming itself. This realization can be disorienting at first. If you are not your thoughts, not your memories, not your roles, then what are you? Who is left when you strip away everything you've identified with? What remains is awareness, stillness, presence, the silent observer behind every experience. That part of you that's never changed. Even though your body has aged, your personality has evolved, and your beliefs have shifted. That essence is not a thing you can point to. It's not an object in the world. It is the space in which everything arises, including the idea of you. Watts once said, "You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. You are not a separate soul trapped in a meat suit. You are the totality of existence expressing itself in a unique form. Like a wave rising from the ocean, you seem to have an individual shape, but you are still made of water. You're not separate from the ocean. You are the ocean." This perspective is both humbling and liberating. It means you are not bound by the story you've been told. You are not your traumas. You are not your fears. You are not your failures or your accomplishments. Those are just chapters in the book, not the author. And the moment you realize this, you begin to live from a deeper place, a place where you're no longer trying to prove anything, defend anything, or fix anything. You stop asking, "Who am I?" and begin to live the answer without needing words. You start to recognize that this life isn't a problem to be solved. It's a mystery to be experienced. And you, as awareness itself, are both inside the experience and beyond it. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not incomplete. That small voice in your head that criticizes, doubts, and fears, it's not your enemy. It's just noise, static. It only has power when you believe it's you speaking. But now you're starting to see it for what it is, just passing weather. You are the sky. So ask yourself now, gently and without pressure, what if I am not this story I've been telling? What if I am far more than I've ever imagined? The moment you even ask that question, the door begins to open. The secret behind what you call reality. What if the world you see around you isn't as solid, objective, or separate as you've been led to believe? What if everything you call reality is not an external thing you observe from the outside, but something you are participating in, moment by moment? Alan Watts often reminded us that we are not strangers visiting this universe. We are not separate observers peering through the window of consciousness. We are expressions of the universe itself, just as waves are expressions of the ocean. In fact, one of the greatest secrets of reality, the one no one told you, is that there is no dividing line between you and what you experience. From an early age, you were taught that the world is out there and you are in here, that trees exist over there, the sky is above you, and other people are separate from you. But all of this assumes something deeply flawed, that your experience and the world around you are two different things. Watts challenged that assumption directly. He said that this boundary between the self and the world is an illusion created by language, thought, and social conditioning. Think about it. You say, "I see the tree." That implies there is a tree, an observer, and some space in between. But in the actual experience of seeing, where is the line? Can you find the border between your eye and the light it receives? Can you isolate the exact moment where the observer ends and the observed begins? Reality is not split into subject and object. It is a flowing process, a dance of perception and participation. You are not watching life like a movie from a distance. You are inside the movie. You are the movie. The sound, the sights, the thoughts, the emotions, all of it is happening as one integrated field of experience. And in this realization, the old model of me versus the world begins to fall apart. Watts often used the metaphor of music to explain this. Life is not a journey with a fixed destination. It's not a straight line from birth to death. Life is more like a song. The purpose of a song is not to arrive at the final note, but to enjoy every note along the way. In the same way, you are not here to reach some ultimate point. You are here to experience, to participate fully in the rhythm of existence. You are not the player, and life is not the game. You and life are dancing together inseparably. And the moment you stop trying to control the music and just listen, you begin to hear something deeper, something that was always there but overlooked. Modern science, particularly in quantum physics, now supports ideas that echo these teachings. Experiments have shown that the act of observation affects the outcome, that consciousness and reality are not neatly divided. Watts predicted this long ago, not through equations but through insight. He said that the universe is not made of separate things. It's made of relationships, patterns, interconnected processes that include you. This doesn't mean the world is imaginary. It means it's participatory. It responds to the lens through which you view it. If you see the world as hostile, your nervous system responds with fear and tension. If you see the world as a play, full of color and impermanence, you relax and begin to enjoy the show. And this is the hidden secret of reality. You are not looking at life. You are looking as life. You are not an accidental byproduct of the cosmos. You are the cosmos experiencing itself from a specific point of view. A tree doesn't grow from the ground like a machine. It grows with the ground, through it, because the tree is the ground expressing itself. And you, in the same way, are the universe aware of itself in human form. When you let go of the illusion of separateness, something shifts. You start to see that the birdsong is not just sound out there. It's your awareness in musical form. The breeze on your face is not foreign. It's part of the same experience you call me. Reality, as Watts describes it, is not a riddle to be solved. It's a mystery to be lived. The more you try to explain it, the more it slips away. But when you stop chasing and simply notice, it opens up like a flower. Why no one told you this? By now, you may be wondering something deeply important. If this understanding of reality is so powerful, so liberating, and so transformative, then why did no one tell you? Why weren't you taught this in school, in church, or by the adults who raised you? Why did you have to stumble upon it by accident or through a philosopher like Alan Watts? The answer is not that someone conspired to keep it from you. The truth is far more subtle and far more revealing. No one told you because no one told them. Generations have passed down stories, beliefs, and models of life that are practical for survival, but not necessarily aligned with truth. Our world is built on systems, economic systems, political systems, religious systems, all designed to maintain structure, predictability, and control. But to do that, they needed to simplify the human being into something smaller than it truly is. From an early age, you were shaped into a role. You were taught your name, your nationality, your gender, your place in society. You were told to behave a certain way, follow certain rules, and pursue certain goals. And all of it was presented as real, as true, as the way things are. But almost none of it had anything to do with who you really are. The system thrives when people believe they are separate, insecure, and incomplete. Why? Because that makes you easier to control, easier to sell to, easier to manipulate. A person who believes they are lacking will spend their entire life chasing something external to fill the gap: money, power, fame, validation. But a person who knows they are the very expression of life itself cannot be controlled. They are no longer operating out of fear or longing. They are free. Alan Watts often laughed at how serious we take ourselves, how deeply we buy into the performance of life without realizing it is a performance. We put on our masks, our roles, and we forget we're wearing them. Then one day we wake up and wonder why we feel so empty inside. It's because we were never taught that behind the mask is something eternal, something timeless, something that was never broken and never needed fixing. Think of a child before they are shaped by the world. There is wonder in their eyes. There is presence in their play. They are not worried about success or identity. They are not anxious about the future or haunted by the past. They are being. That purity is still inside you. It never left. But it got covered up by layers of conditioning. Society doesn't reward people who step outside the norm. It fears them. Those who begin to question too deeply are often labeled as strange, unproductive, or even dangerous. But this discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is waking up. Watts believed that the role of the philosopher, the mystic, or the awakened individual was not to escape the world, but to see through it, to participate in it without being trapped by it. He wasn't telling people to reject society. He was inviting them to stop being unconsciously controlled by it, to remember that they are not cogs in a machine. They are dancers in a cosmic play. You weren't told because awakening cannot be taught in the usual sense. It is not a set of instructions. It is a shift in perception, a seeing, a recognition. And while it can be sparked by words, like the ones you're hearing now, the actual realization must come from within. No school can grade you on it. No corporation can sell it to you. No religion can own it. It is yours, and always has been. The great irony is that the truth is not hidden in some remote temple or ancient book. It is hidden in plain sight. It is the space between your thoughts, the silence in your breath, the awareness watching your life unfold. And once you see it, even for a moment, you begin to live differently, more gently, more clearly, more freely. How to see the truth for yourself. Now that we've walked together through this journey, uncovering the illusion of the separate self, the participatory nature of reality, and the societal layers that obscure truth, there's one final step that Alan Watts would invite you to take. And that step is not into belief, not into dogma, not into another label or identity. That step is into presence, into awareness, into seeing, not with your eyes, but with your being. The beauty of the truth is that it doesn't need to be memorized, theorized, or intellectually mastered. It only needs to be seen. And you don't have to travel to a mountaintop, take a course, or change your lifestyle to do it. You simply have to become still, not passive, but aware. To stop trying to control the moment and start noticing it. Alan Watts would often say that trying to attain spiritual awakening is like trying to bite your own teeth. The more effort you apply, the further away it gets. Why? Because you are already it. You are already what you're looking for. The search itself is the obstacle. If you're waiting for someone to come along and show you the truth, you'll wait forever. Because the only person who can show it to you is you. But not the you that has a name and a role. The deeper you. The awareness that is always there. Silently watching. Never judging. Never grasping. Just being. So how do you see the truth for yourself? Begin by doing nothing. Yes, nothing. Find a quiet space. Sit down. Let your hands rest. Let your eyes gently close. Now simply observe. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Don't try to control your breath. Just become aware. Thoughts may rise. Emotions may come. Memories might flash. That's fine. Watch them like clouds passing across a sky. Let them be. And in between the thoughts, you'll notice a subtle space, a silence. That silence is not empty. It is full of you, the real you, not the story, not the identity, but the presence itself. The more time you spend there, the more familiar it becomes. You begin to realize that this awareness has always been there. When you were a child, when you were asleep, when you were overwhelmed. It never left. You just became too distracted by noise to notice. As you develop this habit of inner stillness, something remarkable happens. The world outside begins to feel less threatening. Other people's opinions lose their grip. The past loses its weight. The future loses its pressure. You begin to live from the center of the storm, untouched by the chaos around you. Alan Watts never promised enlightenment. He laughed at the idea of attaining it as if it were a prize. He simply pointed over and over to the truth that's right here. You don't need to become better. You don't need to purify yourself. You only need to look, without judgment, without resistance. Your job is not to fix reality. Your job is to awaken to it. This doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities or abandoning your goals. It means meeting life with a new kind of clarity, a softness, a lightness. You're still in the dance, but now you're dancing consciously. Reality doesn't need to change for you to feel free. You only need to recognize that you were never truly trapped. And now you have a choice. You can continue life as usual, pretending you are the mask you wear. Or you can return to this space, again and again, until the illusion no longer controls you. Until you walk through life awake, alive, and in love with the mystery of it all. Because the truth is not somewhere else. It's here. In the sound of your breath. In the weight of your hands. In the stillness behind this very sentence. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what has always been. You are not chasing reality. You are reality. And now that you've seen it, even just a glimpse, you can never unsee it.